Here we are. Woo! That was something else, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah, that's what it was.
Woo! Rhetta Roland's in the house today.
Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all. Hey, y'all.
Oh, my God. Rhetta, is there something going on with the stars to make me stressed out like that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, good.
Today,
I'm so glad.
Today, my friend, we are having a super full moon.
Super full moon. Okay.
Super full moon. And what that means is it's the biggest the moon will be all year. That's what super means. Okay. And that has to do with the astronomy that the moon is at its closest to the earth.
Okay.
And then it's in a full moon configuration. So basically emotions are higher.
Okay. So that's why that little thing with our community center just made me a little tense, so to speak.
Yeah, like something that might usually like annoy you to a level 2. Today, it might just shoot to a 10.
Yeah, I went to like level 4, 5 right there for no reason.
No reason, yeah. And it's, here where we are on the coast, San Francisco, it's king tides. We're expecting to have overflow, exceptionally high tides today. And so,
really?
Yeah, you might want to be on the lookout for those. What else am I going to say about that? So, it's pulling the water, and we're made up of what this. What are we made of? 90% water, 70? Sorry.
Yeah, like a lot.
A lot of water. We're made up of a lot of water.
A lot.
It's pulling on us.
Yeah.
So if, you're kind of out and about today and noticing people are like honking their horns and cutting you off, and people are likely to be a little extra emotional today.
Okay.
And it's, it's not, astrology is not really based on a pinpoint. Like today, yes, it will be at its peak, but you're likely to feel this full moon in a week after, even in some senses 6 months after.
What?
It's a process. Yeah, it's but this it's just super strong. It's in the sign of Capricorn. Which means at a full moon, you've got the moon's in one sign, exactly opposite the sun in the other. So we're looking at the sun in Cancer and the moon in Capricorn. So we're playing with the balance of those two archetypes. And Cancer is focused on the inside and nurturing the self and being at home and, doing all kind of, it's about being internal. And Capricorn is focused on the outside world, goals, your mission, your mountain to climb. And a lot of us play with this dynamic of balancing how much time you spend with family, friends, how much on your career, and how do you find that right balance. And that's what's being highlighted today. And
that's today. And I feel good about this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. My birthday's next week. I feel good about it. Yeah. I feel like I'm in the perfect place.
Oh, good. I've been talking with a lot of women lately who are just hitting this kind of burnout for a year. In just pushing, the 60-hour work weeks.
How is that possible?
Just hitting exhaustion.
How is that possible to be doing 60 hours in a work week?
When you put, in this particular case, she's just working from home.
Yeah. Okay. That's it.
Hobbies. Yeah. Stopped. She's, like she's not doing hobbies. She's not in a relationship. She just, everything's about the office. And the way it's set up is the work is never all done. So there's always something to do.
Yeah.
But if you mean, how is someone today still making that choice? Is that what you mean?
I think so. I mean, we've been in this pandemic, right? This, like, let's hunker down and do nothing. And there's been no separation for women in particular about being the caretaker, about being the ones who do the work, the ones who do it all. But there's also this sense of like, we need to take care of ourselves. Yeah. So I'm always curious, like, why aren't we taking care of ourselves? Why aren't women like, why isn't this client of yours taking care of herself? Like, what is
Yeah.
her, like, what's going to be her tipping point, I guess?
And a lot of what happened to me, so always not act
Yeah.
like it's all out there, it's happened to
Yeah.
me. What I saw with a lot of my colleagues is it took a health scare
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
to get completely sick,
Yep.
and whether it was adrenal fatigue for a lot of my contemporaries.
Yep.
And now I think we're seeing some people with long COVID
Oh God.
and extensive brain fog and fatigue where they can't work. I'm feeling like that's kind of, unfortunately, maybe that's not for everyone, but I do
Yeah.
see that where it takes a physical wake up call.
It's so fascinating that you said this physical wake up call, right? I fell while I was away, and I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she said, "So how has this improved your life?"
Yeah.
And I said, as a matter of fact, yeah, it's been this really great blessing because it. So I went to the doctor. I don't know, last month, let's say 7 weeks ago, and they found something on my foot that didn't look good. So, and then I fell, and I was going to ignore the little thing on my foot. I couldn't ignore it after I fell.
No.
Right. And now it's like, oh, we have to now monitor this, right? Every 4 months. So in reality, this has become like a little bit of a blessing and an opportunity for me to pay more attention to my body, And I think that's what you're talking about is like, we don't really get to that breaking point or that state of change until the body's like, help.
Hello. Yeah. And it starts with something little, these little nudges, little whispers of like, maybe my back's a little tight or not sleeping quite well. And then it escalates. Or for me, that was my experience. It escalated until it could not be ignored.
Yeah, that's it.
And I do encounter, there are some women who do reach out to me that are saying, I don't want to get to that point. So I do want to acknowledge that people are paying attention too. And I really commend those women for looking out ahead. They're like, I see the road ahead and it's not looking good. And so it's not happening for everyone, but that's why, we have this full moon once a year. It's every year in July. And I think there are these cycles of astrology, and they bring up questions for us to pause and just scrutinize, how have I been over the past 6 months? How well have I been balancing these two? And then going forward another 6 months, what's my intention for how I balance these two? And it's just time to check in with ourselves.
Yeah, I like that a lot. What is Capricorn? What is that again?
What do you mean? What's the archetype? What's
the archetype
lesson?
Yeah.
Well, Capricorn is this archetype where it's incredibly capable. Okay. It is the mascot, the animal is what is it called? It's called the sea goat.
Oh, so
okay. It's this made up animal, it's part fish, part goat.
Yes.
It can swim the widest seas, climb the tallest mountains. It's very capable. It's very focused on accomplishing in a pragmatic, steady way. The catch, the rub for Capricorn is choosing the mountain to climb that is deep within its soul. Not choosing the mountain to climb because when I get to the top, everyone's going to love me. Or I get to the top and I'll be really rich. Or I'll get to the top, my mother will be happy I'm a doctor. Right. It's because it's so capable. It has to make sure it's choosing its mission based on what it truly longs for. And so to some degree, we're all doing a Capricorn lesson, right? We all have Capricorn somewhere. Yeah. But if you have a sun or moon or rising in Capricorn, it's just a more a major lesson for you. So I think Capricorn gets a bad rap, out on the
Really?
pop astrology. They make them like the social climber.
Oh my God, I usually love Capricorns.
Because they're just, I do too. It's very pragmatic,
Yeah.
goal focused,
Mm-hmm.
and they take the long view. It's it's okay if it's going to take me 10 years to get there, because they have this. It's an energy of being attracted to what is difficult.
Maybe that's why I like them so much.
Yeah. And I think it rules your fourth house of home.
Oh God, great.
So yours are kind of backwards. You're a healer out in the world. Not backwards, but these opposites. And then in home, kind of like you run the household, a very pragmatic business.
Very much so. It's a business here.
You're the CEO of the house.
Yes.
Listen.
Oh, that's so true. That's really good. Okay, so we have this super full moon that we're going to be living through for the next 6 months, and we are in the season of Cancer.
Yeah, Cancer. So we're going to be making a switch pretty soon.
Yes.
Do you want to stay with Cancer for a little bit?
Because just for a little bit. Just a little bit.
A little bit. All right.
Come on.
Okay, I got this open. Cancers are learning where it's safe to feel. And, it's represented by the crab, which has this hard shell around it. And inside is this very soft, vulnerable being.
You know what I had for dinner last night, Rhetta?
What?
Crab.
Soft shell crab.
So good.
So good.
Yeah, I love me some crab.
So it's so it likes walls where it can go within and be safe. So that's why we talk about the Cancers love being home. That feeling you've been out in the world all day, and interacting with people and driving the car and trying to park the car and move the car, or trying to working at the office and collaborating, and then you come home and you put that key in the door and you turn it and the door opens. You're like, oh, thank God.
I can breathe.
I can breathe now. Like that's what the Cancer energy is longing for, finding those places where it's safe to do that. And yet it needs to periodically leave that safe walled off space in order to grow, where it exposes its vulnerability. That's how it stretches itself, and it, in a sense, molts a larger space it will inhabit. And then that's the lesson, or you're on that spectrum as a Cancer, because as a Cancer, you can do nothing. You have free will. Yeah, but if you're learning the lesson of a Cancer and you're here for your soul to evolve, that's the challenge that's before you. Where are you willing to take risks and expose that sweet, soft, vulnerable part of you, and then move into this kind of larger space? And my guess is you had soft shell crab last night, and so that's when they were molting a larger space.
It was just so tasty.
Is it?
Oh my God.
We're all learning Cancer, right? We're all learning. Where is it safe to feel? Where is it safe to risk sharing my feelings?
I like that. Which is for me, everywhere and anywhere. Because I've molted, that's grown, true. Expanded.
You made a larger and larger home, out in the world.
Yep.
It's safe for you to share who you are.
Yep. It's taking a long time, taking time. Time takes time on that.
Time takes time. And then you still periodically need times to really go get back in the little cozy place and what's that word? Restore, rejuvenate.
For sure. I love that. Okay, so we have the super full moon that we're going to be feeling for up to 6 months. Right now, we're in this beautiful, soft, safe Cancer place.
Mhm.
And where are we going?
And then we're going into Leo.
Oh.
And each sign, in a sense, feels like it's the answer to the sign before. And what I mean by that is where Cancer is very much focused on sharing feelings and quiet time with those they love, and healing. And then we get to Leo, and Leo's like, ta-da, I'm here. Would you like to love me? I'm here to love you and be loved by you. And it's very heart opening. And we all have Leo somewhere.
Yep.
So Leo is where we're learning to, or invited to, share our creativity, our playful side, to share something from the heart. It also will involve vulnerability again, but vulnerability now in what I'm creating and sharing with you, be that a story, a song, a meal. And I need, for Leo, to learn my Leo lessons, I need to share it with an audience who values it. It could be one person, it could be a million people. It needs to receive applause and validation, because that fills this loop. I put something out, I receive validation back. And that Leo part of me begins to like trust humanity again. Feeling like people might just be okay.
Wow.
You know how it feels when someone claps for you, even if you didn't really do much. You're like, hi, my name's Lane. Like, you people are all right.
That's hilarious.
Right? That's what I think about Leo. And Leo, the shadow side is when Leo is trying so hard to be loved.
Oh God.
That it contorts and it changes who it is.
Annoying. Totally annoying.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that.
It's authentic.
I feel like though Leos have a hard time getting to that place where they can be themselves.
Yeah.
I've known quite many that struggle with that.
Yeah, that is interesting. That's the lesson, because they can get hooked on the applause and then lose the authentic part.
And then they're faking something. I'm like, why are you doing that? Don't do that.
Nobody likes that, man.
No, and I know when you're doing it, so don't. Stop it.
Stop it. And there was another part of that. And what I've told people, my Leos, that they need, and you've got some strong Leo energy here too. You need the applause and the validation. It's not some psychological illness. You're not a narcissist, egocentric. It's essential for your soul's evolutionary growth. It's an essential lesson where you're learning to trust humanity again. And so if you create something that you genuinely believe in, and you put your heart and soul into it, and you present it, and it's met with nothing or thumbs down, it's like, okay, don't change the creation, change the audience.
I like that. Did you hear that? Don't change the creation, change the audience. I think that's really important for all of our entrepreneurs to hear.
Yeah.
Our creatives, our artists.
You really believe it. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, because in business, they can sometimes they'll bring the market research and say, okay, people are looking for, blue beverages that taste like spearmint. Like, all right, let's make one. And but you make the thing that's more from you. What? No, I have this vision to make this other thing.
No, but it can be that simple about changing the audience, like getting really specific with like who the gift or who the product or who your art is for.
Yeah.
Right. It's not for everyone, and it doesn't have to be for everyone.
Great.
No. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
It's good. What else? Anything else happening? With the Astro update?
it's going to be kind of a shaky time through the end of the month.
Okay.
And what, we might be seeing a lot of disruption, upheaval, revelations in the news, or maybe even earth events,
Okay.
and this is a time where people might panic.
Great.
But
Don't panic.
Yeah, but it's like, don't panic. What I mean is, on the surface level, there's what's happening on the surface level, but the purpose for it, or what's happening on a deeper level, is it's trying to bring us to a new awareness.
Got it. Yeah,
waking us up, all of us on Earth. And, and it's this thought of, there's a lot of shakeup going on, politically and in business and environmentally. And I think one of the key questions is, like, are we, to each ask ourselves, you get to be your own, what's the word, questioner, of, how are you being of service to others? I feel like that's the shakeup. We're seeing a shakeup where all this greed and the building of laws that benefit some but not all, and building up these huge businesses where the people in the corporations are not treated well and not treated equally. And so there's a shift that's been going on for the past few years. We're moving into this age of Aquarius. So the shift now is more about, how are we sharing ideas? How are we collaborating? How are we being of service to each other? Not just service of self. There was a good, strong 200-year period of time. It was service of self, or my group, just my people like me. I'm taking care of my kind, and your kind is whatever.
No more.
And you sent me something on the age of Aquarius, and astrologers are debating over when it began. But look, I think almost everybody pretty much agrees it's here now. So I'm like, okay.
So it's really about asking, taking that moment of reflection and asking, how am I being of service?
Yeah.
Right. It's no longer about being self-centered. And I find, like, with all of the work that I do and all the coaching, it is about stepping away from the self every single time.
Yeah.
It is about, how can I serve others? Get rid of the self and you find freedom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so true.
Yeah. So we're going to be having a little shaky time. Okay. No worries. We got this.
We got it. It's a little bumpy, knowing that the bumps are to help us wake up, or help more people wake up, help us get to living more in our values. And
what do you think about if we're centered and living in our values and helping others in August, right? Which is literally around the corner.
Yes.
Will it be a smooth transition, or we just, like, buckle up and get ready for the bumps because they're going to come anyways?
I think, on the world scale, out there are going to be bumps.
Okay.
How it affects you personally is going to vary.
Okay.
Based on your chart, your soul's lesson plan, what you come in here, what you come to learn. And it does, like, there's some people will say, oh, that full moon, I was up all night, I couldn't sleep. And then some people are like, didn't even notice it. And that has to do with, and so that's with all astrological configurations. I think it varies based upon, is it hitting something sensitive in your chart, your lesson plan? And it has to do with a person's consciousness. Are they just aware of what's going on in general?
Are they living an examined life?
That's what we're talking about.
Most people are not. Sorry, I don't mean to offend anyone, but this is the truth.
Well, anyone who's tuned into this most likely is, right? Because they're curious, right?
They're curious, correct.
And if they've continued to listen this far,
then they must be.
And so sometimes we're kind of talking to ourselves, but periodically you bump into someone else out in the world, or maybe
Yeah.
there's a relative you might have. I have a few
Yeah.
who live in certain
Yeah. I have a
areas,
couple of those. Yeah.
and they think I'm wackadoodle, and they get to have that opinion. And
That's right.
but I think this, and people will respond differently.
Mm-hmm.
And but I just feel like what's happening, it's all happening as wake up calls for us to become more aware of how we're treating our bodies, our neighbors, our environment.
It's about time.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
No, I know.
Like, just imagine a world where we all cared for our neighbor. I mean, I think about back in the 40s, and I mean, that was rough going, but it was the Front Porch Society, right? It was the Porch Society where people were like, hey, Aggie, hey, Mabel, do you have some sugar? Like I'm going to send Johnny over to grab some of those fresh cherries, right? Like, you need your lawn mowed. Oh, right. Oh, I'll walk the dog for you. Like, we're so far removed from that, which causes so much tension in our society. So I'm all for like downsizing, going back in time a little bit, cut the cord on the internet, go for it. Just do it. Just do it.
Yeah.
See what happens. What do you think those Gen Zs and millennials would do?
There might be implode. Bless their hearts, if this, I just think it's what's.
Can you imagine what the millennials and the Gen Z, like there would be like, how do I exist?
How do I exist? And then I'm wondering, like, when their brains come back online, and and I also believe, like, if a generation was born with that stimulus and this thing they're going to deal with, that due to the astrology, they were also born with the makeup to address it. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, of course it does.
They were given that challenge. They're given a real challenge of growing up on screens. And so within them, the collective, they have the answer to deal with it. It's different for us. Like,
correct.
That's why I'm like, what?
Correct. And a lot of that, well, not a lot. I'm just going to say there is a portion of that population who is going to work in forestry, right off the grid, who are going back to their woofing and working on farms and setting up water systems, and which I'm like, yes, please.
There will be a call. Yes. Yeah. And so that's where there's the children who are being born right now. Like, where we're seeing this pandemic and clash of political systems and the breaking down of the patriarchy and different, the racial tensions coming to a head. The children that are being born now have within them like the cellular makeup of solutions to stuff that are just perplexing us.
That we cannot figure out.
Right.
But they do. They have it.
I've read and I've studied that. I just really, really hope that it's true.
I believe.
Please let it be so.
Oh my God.
That's where
well, I think this is a full session, Rhetta.
This was.
Yeah, full session. We've covered a lot of ground here. Hang on, tighten up your seatbelt a little bit if you don't want to get thrown out of the coaster. And we'll be back next month. How about that?
Yes. Bye, y'all.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Bye.